Hi there, folks. Welcome to Stupid O'Clock. As you may have noticed if you're observant enough, I am not Joe Dog McKeel, nor do I play him on TV. But Joe Dog's under the weather still. This is really getting on his nerves being sick this long. So, evidently, I am in charge. Woe is you. But with me tonight, we got Joe Bachman, we've got Dawn. We're still waiting on John to slide in at the last moment, and the last moment has passed. So
I didn't have any ice to summon him or unsummon him if that's what I'm supposed to do.
mm, probably need a seasonal John Adams beer and a jalapeno carrot.
A
I'm just,
jalapeno carrot?
Well, we know the horseradish pickles didn't work because he gave those to Donna.
um, uh, John put carrots in his very hot chili. Um, and I pick on him a little bit about that. Not intensively, but just enough to let him know I'm not going to forget that. Was good chili. Um, Mine was a little too mild for folks. His was a little too hot for folks. They mixed it together, and they thought it was great.
Hmm?
Hey,
So
that works.
hey, chili is chili. Um, Except if you get it at a truck stop, then you're on your own. That's variable quality right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I work in quality control for another 2 days. And then I will be fully retired. And oh, God, I'll work the rest of my life because my wife has got a honeydew list longer than the Magna Carta and the Declaration of Independence combined.
Knew there was a reason that I loved Lindsay.
Yes.
One of the many, many reasons.
I'm going to be refreshing my skills at plumbing and carpentry and Tetris, trying to get a fridge up the steps through the screened in porch and into the house. See, when we got the fridge we got now, the front porch was not screened in. You could just back a truck up right between the azalea bushes and put your ramps down and bring it on out. But now, 6 foot wide porch, have to come in through the door. Ah, well, it's a challenge. I'm up to it. I can do it. Um,
Delivery guys didn't want to take on that challenge, or
there were no delivery guys at that time.
oh,
Um, this is one of those. Farm boy says he can do it. We just set it down in the driveway and drive off. Um, Last time we had to replace the washing machine, I'm doing all this. Porch is screened in. Got my stainless steel ramps going up the front porch steps. Dropped the washing machine on my foot.
mm,
Thankfully, that toenail did not actually decide it needed to run away or
mm-hmm.
escape, but it hurt like the dickens for a long time. I actually have a pair of slippers that were like 3 sizes larger than the shoe size I normally wear that I was having to use while that particular swelling went down.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Donna, don't go there. Don't go there.
He didn't say I couldn't go there.
Yeah, but you're on camera.
Has that ever stopped me before?
That one time at band camp.
No, that was church camp. No. Oh, where's Zachy when you need him?
he, that's another question.
Donna said she's not saying a word; she's just thinking it.
Yeah, I know, but she's thinking loud enough for me to hear. From
See, Joe's
there.
thinking it. Well, not thinking it. He's thinking what Donna's thinking, but through Donna.
Well, yeah, because I'm closer to Donna than Dan is, so if he can hear it, I definitely can.
Really? Yeah, that squee just kind of went right through my ears. Well, whose character are we going to assassinate tonight?
Oh.
Have any of y'all seen the latest episode of Doctor Who?
Just watched it tonight.
I actually have never seen Doctor Who.
But that's not a cardinal sin.
Well, some people feel it is. But anyways.
It's an acquired taste. I mean, I started watching it back when the sets were cardboard and you only had like 10 actors in all of England, and they all showed up in the show in different parts from week to week. Lindsay says that it's that way on BritBox, on everything. That it's the same 10 people for the last 50 years.
Carl said it is a cardinal sin. Oh, well.
Oh.
You know what? I'd rather hang with the sinners than the saints, and I'm not going to pretend to be a saint, so I'm just going to be a sinner.
I ain't no saint, but I still saw the latest episode.
That's you, not me.
Oh. What really gets me is there's so many people reacting so badly to the representation of people of alternate genders and everything else going on, and I'm going, really? Show me on the little doll where the imaginary TV character hurt you.
Right.
Oh.
No, I think I'm going to like him as the Doctor.
He's got a really great level of energy, and his humor, the delivery of some of the lines are just absolutely classic. Mm-hmm. I love that. Now I'm hoping there's not a dance number in every episode from now on, but
right.
That for being a change, and not that big a one, because there have been musical interludes in lots of episodes before, starting back with the first Doctor when they actually had a clip of the Beatles, and all the way up. I mean, it's something that, if it's done right, it can be really decent, and if it's overdone, people are going to get bored.
Yep.
So that's a tightrope that they're going to have to walk. But,
okay, I had to reread Donna's comment a couple times.
What? This one?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't be.
I had to decide where the syllables were.
Shouldn't be.
And if it was a long O or a short O, or yeah.
I gifted Carl with a whole bunch of episodes at HallowCon this year. So, and those were very early ones, to be honest. But
yeah, you haven't missed much, Carl. There's only been 4 episodes. The 3 specials with David Tennant, and then the Christmas special.
and the next ones won't be until spring.
Yeah.
So they did that a few times over the last 10, 15 years. There'll be they take a break and it'll be a couple of specials for the holidays, and then that's it.
Mhm.
And then the next season rolls around, and you got a whole thing. Um,
I don't know how I feel yet about his sonic. I'm going to just say sonic device because it's not even really a sonic screwdriver anymore.
yeah, it looks a lot like a tricorder or a cell phone, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's going to take a little bit getting used to. Um, I think I had less trouble uh, seeing the doctor in a kilt in a tank top dancing in a bar than with the sonic screwdriver, but
Mm.
you know,
Well, like my wife pointed out too, they did some callbacks to some former outfits, some
oh
former
yeah,
colorings of outfits, all kind of clashed piecemeal together. The kilt
well,
being one of them, and you know,
that's one of the things that people have been talking about in some of the reviews that I'd seen. Is like there's no iconic single costume for this doctor yet, and there may not be. He may just change outfits as often as a normal person, rather than wearing the same suit for 3 years.
hmm
So,
hey, we know that TARDIS has a whole wardrobe room, so it's not like
oh,
he's
it
without
always
a
did.
yeah.
It always did. And a couple of swimming pools, and
Was it number 5 that had the celery in his part of his outfit?
yeah, yeah. Turns out
Because I
he had an allergy and to certain gases in some chemical range, and the celery would turn purple if it was exposed to that. So if the celery ever turned purple, he could eat the celery and have fresh breath, and it would possibly it would counteract whatever allergic reactions he would have been having to the gas itself. But if you weren't watching real close on that one episode where he explained it, it was
mm,
just kind of a right over the
I
top of
I
your head thing.
I think it was his doctor. It might have been one before him, but they were in. I'm assuming it was in the TARDIS wardrobe room. I've seen a clip of it where he's trying to figure out what outfit he wants to do.
Hmm.
You know,
They've let's see. I think that actually started with him with Tom Baker
mm,
just before Peter Davison. Basically, he would go in the TARDIS and come outside with a whole new costume.
yep,
And then Davison, they actually showed him in the wardrobe room looking through stuff.
okay. So I
And
am
then
remembering that correctly.
yes, he was the first one that they actually showed the wardrobe room. And then with Sylvester McCoy, they did more of the same, picking outfits. Um, I mean, I've always thought the darn thing is about the size of the Empire State Building inside,
hmm
and it's just smaller on the outside.
I'm just watching Donna and Carl's conversation.
Oh yeah. Oh, no new apps. Won't pay Disney. Well, Lindsay wanted to see the Beatles thing, so I got Disney Plus, and that way I've been able to watch all the stuff on Disney Plus. I can afford it, but it's not horrendous. Oh, okay, yeah, not asking you to. Yeah, well, I'm still missing one of the specials. Um, my friend that gets those for me um, has been terribly unhealthy, here lately, and don't know how much longer he's going to be able to do that for me. I've asked him how he manages to get hold of this stuff, and I may have to get a VPN, which would be no problem. But I might have to go to internet piracy myself rather
I didn't
than
hear that.
phoning a friend. Of course, he used to build computers for a living, so he's got an enormously faster system than anybody I know. S- he can download stuff, a full 2-hour movie if he wants it, in about 5 minutes. Um, I'm going,
So fast
okay.
computer and fast internet connection.
Well, he builds them, so yeah. Um, we shall see how it works out. There may be other options I have been totally unaware of, but I have been watching all the Marvel stuff that I can stand. That's been on Disney. Um, some of it's good, some of it is not my cup of tea.
Mm.
Um, and the Star Wars stuff, some of it's good, some of it's not my cup of tea. It's a salad bar. I'll watch what I like and leave the rest for somebody else. It's not like I'm using it up. We we got rid of the satellite dish years ago, and Lindsay got a copy of BritBox or a subscription to BritBox, so I can watch that back here if I want to. Um, she uses it mostly for her soap operas and Britcoms, and I've got Netflix out here, and I think she's got a link to my Netflix account out there if she wants to watch any of that. I've got access to the CW and the CW Lite. I don't know what else to call it. And I was watching the DC comic book stuff on that.
Okay.
But the problem with that is you don't have to pay for it, but you got to watch the same 3 commercials every break during the show every time you watch it. And I don't like commercials, but it would be nice if there was more variety.
Oh, Joe Dog
Uh,
just chimed in.
yep, I saw that.
Get better. Get your rest.
Oh, I hope you feel better, Joe Dog.
Yeah, I feel better, Joe.
Yeah. Um, yep. BBC iPlayer. Yep. Carl, that'd be absolutely right. And yes, poor Joe Dog. I hope Donna is doing well. Joe Dog's Donna is doing better.
Well, I hope
Uh,
both Donnas are doing well. Geez, Dan.
well, I didn't know that Carl's Donna was feeling under the weather.
No, but they're trying to work on, implementing 5 cats to get along in a home.
This is supposed to be a challenge. You put the food down, whoever lives gets to eat.
Daniel!
You try raising 20 of them at one time.
Yeah, but they're outside.
Not always, not anymore.
Ish.
They were inside before they were outside.
Oh, Carl said they've
Oh,
had sinus infections for 2 weeks, so
oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know exactly how you feel. The worst I can complain about is that I have been foolishly trying to sleep the same way that I did as a child. with only one pillow, and Lindsay's got like 15 on the bed. It's like the Princess and the Pea here. Um, well, I have been stacking up two of them and sleeping on that, and the pain in my neck has been a great deal less. I think once I no longer have to go to work and sit in those awful chairs in the break room in order to eat, the pain in my back will go away.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to get my pain in my neck, backside, shoulder to go away. It's not been a fun week. And Joe Dog, I always behave, just not well.
Everything we do is a form of behavior. If you want good behavior,
It costs extra.
The face I just got. Yeah, you saw that, didn't you?
oh, well, I would say that I'm going to leave y'all two here without adult supervision, but Joe Dog's in the chat, so
So we're still here without adult supervision.
I was gonna say Joe and I do very well on Burning His Love and Behind the Code. We haven't gotten in too much trouble.
Well, we also have Alec there to keep us out of trouble.
True.
so basically haven't gotten caught yet.
It's kind of like, usually the kids watching us is making us behave. Usually it's like, uh-oh, the parents are there, the adults are there. This is, oh, the kids are here, we better behave.
I shall return momentarily.
We will see in a bit.
And we'll be back after this word from our sponsors. Oh,
we have sponsors?
Some days.
Did you get the table cleared off so you can get your clear coating done?
Oh, hell no, I haven't done that yet. I might get that done this weekend. Actually, I probably will get that done this weekend.
Plug away, Joe. See, he tells us to behave, and then he leaves lines like that. That is not fair.
I'm going to say, well, I don't know who your sponsors are, Joe Dog, but...
Oh, I give up.
Ooh, back pop. That felt good.
I need that to happen. Actually, I don't even know. I don't know. I probably am not going to do Last Man Standing tonight because I'm hurting. Plug your stuff, dummy.
Oh, in that case, Behind the Code Monday nights at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. I think is when I generally do that one. And then Burning His Love Wednesday nights at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. That's sad. I don't even know my own schedule.
Apparently, Georgette just left in a huff. Oh, no, she didn't leave. The door's shut. She's at the door going, hey. That's funny that you saw the cat going just that little. You see, she's not there.
We behave somewhat.
Oh, I heard. Later on tonight, I won't be able to trust you, and I will have to leave the headset behind. But this time,
why? Whatever do you mean? Dawn and I are the embodiment of innocence.
Yes. Oh, come on.
Now, if my wife is watching right now, she is laughing her ass off.
And if you believe that, you'll buy this watch.
Watching me try to control Georgette, or saying that we,
Oh, sweet kitty. Billy was in the house earlier. Well, right now he's on the bed in the house. He's still in the house. But evidently, Lindsay let him in not too long after I got home. And I had to go to the fridge for another beer. Came back. He really likes my chair. The one I'm using right now.
I'm going to really let her out, not this time.
Okay. I like to not got my chair back from that cat. It was the threat of me going ahead and sitting down and scooting back up till he got press ganged that got him to jump down, and even then he wouldn't leave the room. I don't know what finally got him to go jump on the bed. I guess he figured it was time. Um, and right about now, the dog is trying to tell Lindsay to go to bed because it's after dark. And she's still got at least 2 soap operas to go.
Yeah, my cat will be trying to get me to go to bed here in a little while.
Back to Doctor Who. I learned an interesting fact earlier this evening.
Okay.
Mrs. Flood, the nosy neighbor lady,
Yes.
that's Brian May's wife.
Really?
Yes. And evidently she has been on EastEnders, a British soap opera, for many years.
Go get your breathing treatment done. Yeah, George. No. Kiddo said hi. Don't get him hurt. Okay.
My wife and I were trying to figure out if she was how she's going to fit into this year's, this season's show.
With breaking the fourth wall?
Yeah.
That has been definitely stated that it is going to be a slow burn development through the rest of the series.
Okay.
So we won't know until probably just before the end exactly how that's going to play out, as well as other things that hints were dropped in not only the specials but this episode from Christmas Day. So it's the showrunner's usual thing. Russell is going back and reaching for things that might be loose ends and tying a couple of threads to it to let it dangle a little further till he can weave it into a big knot that eventually will be untied, like a certain pirate ship we just saw. Got to say, I'm liking the gravity gloves.
Yes, that's a nice little addition.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Who says the Doctor doesn't have superpowers? He's intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a superpower nowadays.
Yeah. Common sense is a superpower.
All right, this time I'm not leaving the room. I'm just going, give me 3 steps. I'm going to get another beer.
Give me 3 steps. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Really just don't mind me tonight.
Have I ever minded?
No.
In any way, shape, or form? Ask my mom. She can tell you. Same answer. No. Does what he wants to do, gets caught, gets spanked. Does again anyway. That would go a long way toward explaining my first 2 lines.
Isn't this so much better?
Did I think that out loud?
I didn't hear a thing, Dan.
Oh. John, Joe is in the comments right now. He is really not feeling well and not breathing correctly.
Breathing is an important part.
Yes. Believe me, when you can't breathe, you don't feel really good at all. Breathing is important. But we're hoping maybe Saturday he'll be here. If not, we're going to be even more worried than we are now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, got to keep the little annoying bugger around for a few more years. A few being equal to about another 30 or 40. And Happy New Year to you too.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you, John.
And hopefully it will be the start of a really great year. It's going to be good for me. I hope it's going to be good for everybody else too. Uh, okay, that can't be the dog. The doorknob got turned. Huh? Okay.
Hi, Lindsay.
February the 8th is my last day. Yes. Hello.
Is that
Hello.
Kimber?
Yes.
Kimber and
And
Lindsay.
the door just got shut with Kimber inside. So I now have a co pilot. No, I'm going to have to get up and let her back out. No, the recycle bin for soft drink cans and aluminum cans is back here. So Lindsay had to drop off her 7 Up Zero can. Oh, let's see. Missing comments. Da, da, da. Witchman dude was so busy listening to us, he didn't see the special Munsey that I had to go to his office to get.
I figured I better check because he sent me a special one again. I'm good. I got it. I got what I can get. Oh my.
Hydrate.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. Hi. Keep losing my voice, which I'm sure there's some people that are be very pleased with that happening.
Oh.
Well, we kind of need you to have your voice.
Guess I gotta have something going for me.
Oh, you got more than just that going for you.
I would agree.
So we're finally getting some snow off and on today.
Okay. Wish you luck with that. Um, it's cold enough to snow down here, but it's the air is just too dry right now. We might get some, we might not. It's like maybe every 3 to 5 years we'll get a little light dusting of snow. About once every decade we get enough to shut Atlanta down, which means 5 snowflakes. Um, Atlanta it's all hills. It's all hills. So if the road gets iced over, that game over. You might as well just don't leave the house until spring because it's going to be entirely too dangerous. The bad thing is it usually happens while people are at work and they need to get home.
Mm-hmm.
And down here, it's not financially effective to have a whole lot of stuff that can cope with snow. The equipment that they need just doesn't get bought because it just so rarely happens.
It rushed
Right.
out before it would actually get used, probably.
Uh-huh.
And I get that. I just threw a pen at myself. Don't ask how I do things like these.
Now
But
it's better out in the sticks where I'm at because they have road graders for dirt roads,
and
emergency
that's fun.
snowplows.
In rural Minnesota, that's a lot what they use too are the road graders for
Hmm.
plows.
And there are dump trucks everywhere. Doesn't matter whether they were owned by one of the contractors that pays roads for the county or whatever, or you can even get a coalition of farmers together with their dump trucks and load them up and salt or grit the roads. Um, hey, whatever you need to do in an emergency, you do. Um, the farmers will pull together. I mean, if they'll get together and help each other mow and bale and stack hay in a barn just so that they've got more help when it's their turn,
Mm-hmm.
they'll help take care of the roads too.
Yep.
And 90% of them won't even ask or wouldn't even accept money if it was offered.
Mhm.
Oh, we have a Chris.
Hello, everybody.
Hi
Evening, Chris.
there. Oh, but Atlanta is a special case. It's a big metro area, and they can't afford to keep uh, snow combating equipment just sitting there for 10 years while it's not doing anything.
No, and another thing, as I brought up in the past, Atlanta is very hilly because it's at the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. So a lot of people don't realize. And another thing is, there are a lot of people from out north that move to Atlanta that forget how to drive. So when it happens, they're freaking out, especially when they've got hills and stuff and they're used to rolling, more or less flat land.
Yeah,
Mhm.
more Piedmont than hills. Yeah,
I'm just laughing because usually the first 2 snows of the season, there's a lot of people in the ditches, especially, believe it or not, in Minnesota. That happens a lot. The first, because it's like, oh, I remember how to do this. Nope, I don't remember how to do this.
And another thing people forget is, especially if it's been dry and we get snow, you've got all the deposits from all the oils, lubricants, and everything else that's leaking from all these vehicles built up
Mhm.
that suddenly get lubricated
really, the
and
stuff
wet.
that stuff floats on water, so it gets to the top of the ice before the ice forms.
Yep. And that's why you have to. So it's not just Southern folks don't know how to drive, because I've seen Southern folks drive better than some Yankees ever have any hopes of doing.
Ooh, is
But
that
I've
what you...
also seen Southern folks can't drive worth shit either. So
I was gonna say, was that a
it's like
challenge?
everything else. It's a situational basis. It's based
Mhm.
on whatever you got to
Okay,
deal with.
so it's Joe and me versus Chris and Dan for driving in the snow, right?
I wouldn't want to take
So
that challenge.
You what?
I would not want to take that challenge
And why not, Dan?
because I have been known to bypass the main roads and go on the back roads where I could do 60 miles an hour in a foot of snow in a 1970 Chevy Impala.
Hey, I learned in
And
a
I don't have
78
that 70
Impala.
Impala anymore.
Well, one thing about those cars back then, Dan, is they had enough weight to keep your vehicle on the road,
That's
provided
exactly what I'm saying.
you didn't get too slick of a surface that you ran across.
I pulled up to the road that was my usual route to work, and there was like 30 cars doing 30 miles an hour went past me while I'm sitting at that stop sign waiting to make a left turn. I turned my turn signal off, went across the road, went and got on a parallel back road, and booking it down through there. I was the first one to break trail on that back road. I got all the way up to where that road re-met my usual route
No, Carl.
and got ahead of everybody else. Went on to work.
I have to
Uh,
agree with Chris on that. No, Carl, it would be fun, but no. That would be very hard to coordinate.
I
That's
am
the only reason.
I am not willing to risk somebody's safety and health over a stupid ass thing like that.
really. My ego's big, but it ain't that damn big.
You know,
I don't have anything left to prove.
Not so top gear show.
No, it's not Top Gear. You know, there's more to life than Top Gear.
No, not so top gear.
Yeah, it's not so Top Gear either.
Mm.
Yeah, should we? And I admit I was completely being facetious. I was not actually saying there's be a challenge. Can you imagine what happened if I got into another accident with my spine?
Yeah, it's
It
not.
wouldn't like you very much.
It doesn't like me now.
I know, but it'd be
It really
worse.
wouldn't like you then.
I know. So I was not being realistic. I was being silly, but
Now,
I was
now,
just saying Northerners versus Southerners in driving in snow. That's all I was
Well,
saying. I was
now,
being silly.
if you want to do one of those ice road trucker challenges where they're going across the frozen lakes, I can win that one flat out every time because I'd show up with a hovercraft. I don't care if the ice melts; I'm still on the top.
well, my point is, it's not just because Southern people don't know how to drive in snow. Because, like I said, there are a lot of Northern people that don't know how to drive Atlanta on the snow just because of the differences in the elevations. Because
Well,
Peachtree Ridge, where Atlanta was formed at, it was determined to be 1,000 feet above sea level, and it would not. They were not going to settle for anything less. There are some deep drops off the side of that ridge.
hmm now, well, let's be honest here, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people in Atlanta that don't know how to drive under any condition whatsoever.
Oh yeah, like I said, and the thing
And
is, they're not
30
just from the
thirty
south; they're
thousand
from
of
all
them
over.
are out there every morning in rush hour, and they don't know how to do anything. I mean, they can't drive in good weather, much less bad.
And they're from all over the country. It's not just native
Oh
Georgia.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of
As
people that have moved to the area for jobs.
Yes, and like I said, I'm just being a smart.
as someone who has worked the interstates and uh, been out on 8094 during the best road conditions, namely a bright sunny day with no construction, and the worst conditions where we're getting a blizzard and I'm in a plow truck. Yeah, people can't drive for shit either way out here.
I
Mhm.
just want to know one thing:
What's that?
are Ohio drivers as bad up there as they are down here?
So we don't get so many of the FODs, we get the FIDs. The fucking Illinois drivers. No offense, Dawn,
Okay,
Donna, and
no, they
Carl.
are.
Um,
Yes, I because I'm a Minnesota girl at heart. I'm a Minnesota driver. The Illinois drivers suck.
I mean, every
and
state has a certain percentage of their drivers that suck.
mhm,
Mhm.
I believe that's because Nabisco refuses to quit putting driver's licenses as prizes in Cracker Jack boxes.
mhm.
Carl said he's driven in Chicago. He knows about the
Oh
Illinois
gosh,
drivers.
how do
Mhm.
they manage to do that with so few lanes? I mean, if Atlanta didn't have as many lanes to drive in, I mean, it'd be even worse than it already is.
I don't. Have you ever driven through Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina with snow on the road?
No, but I've driven to it, the western part of the metro area. I've driven to Durham. I haven't driven into Raleigh.
Um, I've got to tell you, that's part of my route to bypass the Smoky Mountains on my way up to Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
have never seen so many cars driving too fast
mm-hmm.
and in the ditch on both sides of the road and causing transfer trucks to jackknife anywhere else that I have ever driven. And I have driven in Knoxville while they were doing the reconstruction of the roads to do the World's Fair there, where every lane had concrete walls on either side, and every lane ended in 500 feet.
Mm.
It was like, have you seen Tron? The light cycles. That was exactly Knoxville in that era.
Mm.
It's
Well, I'll
like
tell you,
they're doing 70 down through here. They're just about to scrape the concrete on either side of the cars. and you've got to get over and get into another lane real quick because the one you're in is going to cease to exist except as a big blank wall in front of you. Oh,
Well, I'll tell you one I hate going is when you're coming out of Asheville and you're going down.
I know the one. I know the one
You
with
know,
the
you're
bridge at the
going
bottom.
down
With
and you're turning a corkscrew.
Uh-huh.
It's about as bad as coming down off Mount Eagle.
Yeah. Now that has caused me to worry about having to replace the brakes in my van.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is, the van does have 2 lower gears. I
Mhm.
can gear it down to slow down, but for the same reason I avoid the Smoky Mountains, you have to hold the shift lever to keep it in those lower gears. If you let go, it pops back up in drive, and you're going 70 again, going
Right, Jojo?
downhill with a curve at the bottom. And that's the one place that scares me on that road. Now, when I get off in the Snake,
Mhm.
further on 40, going through the mountains, going through the tunnels and everything,
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine.
Well, it's not that bad because everything's high there, but you're going down.
I know
And-
it's relatively flat on the part that I like. It's just
Mhm.
that
Or at
huge
least a gradual
valley.
incline, but you're going down fast.
I've been on roller coasters that were less steep.
And you ideally have enough room where you can pump your brakes. That way you're not riding them the whole way down.
Hmm.
But you've got to watch out for people around you because they can mess your plans up very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Now,
We're
believe
all
it or not,
doing
I've done that route on a motorcycle.
You're a braver man than I am, Dan.
I don't know if it's brave or stupid, but I had fun.
Uh, I think it was stupid, but you probably did have fun.
Hey, being fun, having fun and being stupid sometimes go hand in hand.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Good night, Joe Dog.
Good night,
I,
Joe.
Good
I
night,
think
Joe.
I'm gonna, I think
Get
I'm
to
gonna go
feeling better. I'm tired of you being sick, damn it.
damn it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and log off too. I'm in quite a bit of pain tonight, so I'm gonna go take stuff to make myself pass out.
There you
Okay.
go.
Be safe.
Well, I'm not gonna go anywhere except for right there.
Well, if you're as clumsy as you claim to be, you could have an accident between there and the bed. So be safe and good night. Hope you get to feeling better.
Let's not forget I have fallen out of that bed before in the middle of the night. So, okay, well, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow night in the green room for those that make it there.
All right.
Mhm.
Take care. Good night.
See you, Don.
Bye.
Good night, Dawn.
Oh,
Sorry
I
if I'm
fucking-
being a little bit too brutally honest tonight.
Oh, don't worry about it. Life and soul, you are.
So where's Rich?
Don't know. Oh, he's not feeling well either.
Damn it, y'all gonna have to quit getting sick. Take some zinc, some vitamin C, and some other shit. I'm tired of this. Oh, I gotta go back to work next week. This is my one chance to get to hang out with y'all on a Thursday night, and y'all dropping like flies.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I got to go to work Tuesday. Then I got 5 weeks off. Then I go to work second Thursday in February. And when I leave that time, unless they hire me as a very expensive consultant, I will never have to go back again.
Yeah.
And I have made it clear if I have to go back, it's going to cost them big dollars.
Yeah. In answer to your question, Carl, I've just been dealing with stupid shit for a while now, so I'm getting tired of it.
Oh, please don't name names, Daniel. Oh dear.
However, the world is an imperfect place, and we must deal with it as best we can.
Hmm.
I imagine Dalton would be a very dangerous place to drive in the wintertime. They
Yeah,
think speed limits are suggestions up there. And
yeah,
some of those curves, they may be flat going into them, but they don't feel like it when you're coming out of them. It's like loop to loop on a Matchbox car, Hot Wheels track. Uh,
yeah. I have driven in some conditions that were not ideal.
mm, I'll tell you the worst one that I ever drove in. It didn't have anything to do with the weather.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I was going to take a long motorcycle trip.
Mm-hmm.
So I got on a bike in Athens, Georgia, and I went all the way out to Dallas. And
Mm-hmm.
that in the middle of the night took me about 11 hours to get to Dallas. Stayed there for a couple of days with an artist friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Had to go to Daytona, meet up with my second wife. We were separated at the time.
Excuse me.
She was living in Ocala and wanted to take a vacation in Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured this would be either a make or break situation. So I drove from Dallas to Ocala 24 hours straight on a motorcycle. I stopped for gas, I stopped for food. That's it. No sleep till Brooklyn, basically. And
Man.
I was not in the best of conditions by the time I got within the last 20 miles of that trip. I had to fight sleep going down the road in 4 lanes of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
But I got there safely,
That's
took a
good.
little nap, and then she drove us to Daytona. Spent a week there, and things were working better. And got back, hopped on the bike again. I go, ooh, saddle sores.
Mm.
I've still got 8 hours before I can get to the house.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Oof.
No fun.
it was. It was not. It was not. And that was the trip. That at the end of it, I parked the bike, and except for running back and forth to a very close grocery store, never rode motorcycle again.
Mm.
That pretty much ended it for me.
Oh, I imagine so. I mean, saddle sores from all that driving. Oh,
Yep.
Kiri.
Hey,
Hey,
Carrie.
Gary.
But that was about the worst trip that I ever had. I mean, it was fun at all the destinations.
Yeah.
It was just the in between bit of getting between those destinations that was not fun. Oh, Kimber wants out. She misses her mama, and she is tired of being cooped up back here in this nice, warm, comfortable room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Somewhere, someone is having fun, and she has to go spoil it. I may as well get another beer while I'm already up here at the refrigerator.
Sure, why not?
I mean, I don't need one right now, but hey, beats getting up again in the next 5 minutes.
This is true.
Oh,
Very true.
Kiri, what are you up to tonight? Any of the HallowCon crew going to Chattacon?
Oh, I'm sure we'll be there.
And how far away is it? How many weeks?
It's the weekend right before MLK Day. So I believe it's 13th through the 15th.
Uh, is that March?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, January.
January.
HallowCon's
Oh, okay.
always in January.
Okay. Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's always in January.
oh, he finished the stream just a little while ago.
Yeah.
Well, I did too, but I don't think it was the same kind of stream that Kiri is talking about. So. And
His was
though
online, yours was down the hall.
Yep. Even though I knew it was a risk, I kept the headphones on so I could listen to Joe and Dawn, make sure that they were not being influenced by Joe Dog too highly in order to engage in shenanigans.
Mm.
Joe Dog tried his best, but it didn't work.
Dawn and I are the embodiment of innocence. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have I got to buy that watch? It's right 2 times a day.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's my story. I get to tell it how I want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's your story and you're sticking to it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't change it, they can't poke any holes in it. No, I'm actually. I talked to the lady at Human Resources today, and I asked her point blank, "Does the company still intend to do away with my job once I retire?" And she said, "Yes, that was worked into the union contract, so they have to do it." The union got them to agree that they would not eliminate the job before I retired, but they wanted to eliminate the job. So paperwork has been filed and everybody has signed off on it. And I'm going, well, someone in corporate is going to want those test results that they've been getting from me. And the other people in the quality control are not going to have time to do it. So that means the quality manager and the quality engineer are going to be having to do what I do until they can convince corporate that this job has to be reinstated, bidded out to somebody, hopefully at a little bit higher pay grade because it's a lot of work. But it just seems like it's a shame that there's going to be this runaround trying to get people that don't have time to do the work and that don't want to do it in the first place. Sent a photo. Where did the photo come from? Where did it go? Oh, it's over here. Whoa. That's
what I drove home to about 10 years ago, something like that.
I can imagine. Let me see if I can share that. Present.
And that was me driving about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. It's because you're intelligent.
Well, it's because it was icy and messy.
Share. And there we go. Yep. I remember days like that.
That almost looks like the blizzard, the very first blizzard I ever drove in while plowing. I kind of had a little baptism by fire my first night out. There was a bad enough storm coming in that we started getting called in the middle of class right after lunch. and we're told that class was canceled the rest of the week.
Yeah, well,
The one time that I had to drive in worse stuff was probably, I don't know, 98. It was worse than that. I actually had to use the 4-wheel drive on the vehicle that I had at the time.
mm-mm.
And I
Yeah,
still spun out.
Yeah,
I did it on the road and I recovered, but
Mhm.
Mhm.
I made it home.
The night I got called out for that storm, I was supposed to drive my personal vehicle in,
Hmm.
but I was in LaPorte with my state vehicle and went, well, I'll just drive this out to the unit tonight. I'll get the car in the morning because I drove a little gray Plymouth Breeze, and I figure if I ended up in a ditch in that thing, they wouldn't find me till springtime. Oh,
Good night, Donna.
I
Good night,
actually
Donna.
like these cars. Good night, Donna.
So I drove my state car because I at least had the construction lights on it. It was a Dodge Stratus. So I figured, at least with the construction lights, if I spun off into a ditch, I had a chance of being found.
Sometime before
But
spring, yes.
I was driving home after that shift, and as I'm getting on the interstate, I get a call from one of my coworkers. He goes, "Hey, they got us a hotel room." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. I'm heading home." You're not going to take the hotel room? Hell no, I ain't taking the hotel room. I'm already on the interstate. I ain't going to try and get back off until my exit.
Wise man, yes.
I drove down what I'm fairly certain was the center of the road, geographically speaking, not the center lane,
Mm-hmm.
because I was trying to judge the distance between the median, the center median wall and the wall to my right.
Mm-hmm.
Had my lights going, and I looked in my rearview mirror. Here's 4 semis blocking the road behind me. Not even attempting to pass.
Mm-hmm.
They were just all lined up, and I was cruising along doing about 25 in a Dodge Stratus with construction lights going, with snow coming up over the hood
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the interstate.
Sounds like they were following you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we can see that.
Yeah.
They're also like, this person driving like they got some damn sense. We ain't gonna let nobody hit him.
Right.
Stay on target. Oh.
Yeah, I got home that night, and I lived on a cul-de-sac at the time, so we were the last to be plowed.
Yeah.
And managed to get it almost up to the duplex. Luckily, I lived on at the very first duplex on the road,
Mm-hmm.
but I was probably still probably about 50 to 100 feet away from my actual parking spot before the Stratus just wouldn't make it any further down the road.
Yeah. And I'm sure you were like, well, hell, it's got me this far. If it won't stay here, I'll let it stay here.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't pick up my personal vehicle for 5 days. It sat at the very sub, and I finally went to go get it, and I'm thinking, oh god, the battery's gonna be dead. This thing ain't gonna want to start. I get over there, there's snow just all over it. So I get enough off to be able to open the door, pop the key in. It took one extra turn of that engine, it fired right up. I'm like, oh, thank you, God.
Yep. One of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to me is driving home in a snowstorm from work. Could not make it anywhere near home. Anywhere near home. Wound up leaving the car on the side of the road and walking to the apartment of the girl I was dating at the time. Now, we tried to call in to work the next day, my best friend and I, because it was 2 couples pretty much stuck, walked to the same place to spend the night. My supervisor called back and said he's going to fire all of us if we didn't make it to work. And I'm going, my car's on the side of the road. There ain't no way we can make it. He got up there in a Honda Civic and picked us up and took us to my car and made sure that it got out of the ditch and was able to go to work. And the reason was everybody else on the team had called in too. He wanted somebody there.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
they
I'm
get
going, oh, they didn't get gone and picked up personally and forced to go to work in an ice storm. But for some reason, he had
they get
another of my
stupid when
another of
it
my
gets.
friends was dating a rather sweet little girl that the supervisor had the hots for. So that friend got put on the official unpleasant jobs list. And because we hung out with him, we got put on the same list with him. Upshot of it was my friend stopped dating that girl, and that supervisor started dating that girl. And we thought strongly about taking photos of the two of them together and sending them to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently, he wised up a few years later and quit fooling around on his wife. I mean, real pretty girl, but there's no excuse to be messing around when you're married.
Well,
Uh,
the supervisors get stupid sometimes when it gets bad weather. Like, oh, we got to do something. We got to get some stuff done, and nobody else is working. It doesn't matter. We got to get this shit done.
yeah, we can't shut everything down. Well, unless you're going to go get the entire 300 people that work today or
Oh
scheduled to
hell, I
work
made a
today.
mistake one day calling in and I said, "Are y'all running?" "Yeah, we running." I said, "Well, my car's stuck." I said, "So unless y'all want to come get me, I ain't gonna be able to make it."
Yep, that was a
They
mistake right
came,
there.
got my
Hmm.
car unstuck, and they brought me into work. I was like,
Exact same situation. I swear, there was like 6 inches of ice on the road. And because he managed to get there in a Honda Civic,
He
don't
figured
ask me
everybody else should
how.
be able to get into.
Exactly, exact. The plant manager didn't even come in.
Hmm.
And the production line was shut down the entire day. We were just standing there getting paid to stand around and do exactly nothing. But the supervisor didn't look bad because somebody had actually got there.
We
Enjoy.
had I had a general manager when I worked at Staples that lived an hour away over in Culver, Indiana, and his rule of thumb was if he can make it in, you can make it in. And he drove some little shitbox car.
That
And
shouldn't have
when
been able to make it, but
and when I say shitbox car, like even it wasn't a manual, it was an automatic. But this thing, the safety for it was gone. So like you could be in drive and just slap that thing right in the park if you wanted to.
yeah, I had one of those once. Wasn't like that when I bought it, but by the time I finished driving it, I had wore out everything on it. Um,
hmm.
oh Lord, that was before we had a union. He would not have been able to get away with those threats and any of that after we had union lawyers willing to go up against company lawyers
Mm.
and just that was a long time ago, a long time ago. And actually, there was another blizzard. Um, Not too many years after that one, but this was a sure enough blizzard. And I was in Atlanta on vacation at a comic book convention, and somehow or another, they managed to get the phone number of the place where I was staying and wanted me to drive from Atlanta to Athens, 90 miles from Atlanta to Athens, with 6 or 8 inches of ice on every road in between. And I just laughed on the phone line and said, "What part of vacation do you not understand?"
Well, I would have asked them, when was the last time you were drug tested? Because
They would have just replied, "Do you want to be drug tested?" It was the 70s.
Carl, I agree with that.
Yes, Carl. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
We've got one or two now that think that just because they got promoted into management for no discernible reason, except they're really good at polishing apples,
Yeah.
they now are walking on water, and you know, one of them got on to one guy about something I don't even know what, and he wound up making the cardinal mistake of going, "Do you know who I am?" And the guy said, "Yeah, you are," named his name. "I went to high school with you. You wasn't nothing then, you ain't nothing now."
I love it.
Needless to say, that particular one never tried that again. Oh, Carl. Uh, yeah, I will love retirement. There's going to be a whole lot less aggravation. Um, if it snows too much, well, I've already let them know years ago. Uh, with the condition of the roads that I've got to drive on in good weather, if it snows, don't look for me. I will call in and I will take the hit on my attendance record. I mean, today I got perfect attendance for this year. I have not missed a day or been late the entire year, so I will get a bonus. Um,
Congratulations.
hey, it'll come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Got to buy plywood. Um, got to fix the floor in the kitchen and the hallway where we had that leaky pipe. And Lindsay would have a new fridge, a new stove, and a new microwave if it hadn't been for the fact that I've got to fix the floor so that workmen bringing a refrigerator in don't wind up in the crawl space underneath the house. You can feel it give way.
Mm.
There are places where we don't walk right now. So I've got to get my circular saw out and set it down to where it'll only cut through the subfloor and not the uh, floor joists, and pull up about 4 sheets of plywood, replace them with good plywood, and then I can go spend the money for a new refrigerator. Um,
So there was one year my sister-in-law was working at a store, Gordman's.
Mm.
It was over in Valpo, and it's the we were getting a bad enough storm that they actually called for state of emergency on the roads.
Wow.
They put it to where unless you are essential personnel, you should not be out here.
That's what I was laughing about them.
And she, hadn't heard that they had said that, so she had tried to make it in, ended up in a ditch, and had to call my brother-in-law to come get her out. She calls her boss, says, hey, I tried to make it in, ended up in a ditch. I'm not going to be able to come in. He goes, well, we have inventory today, so you either get in here or you're fired. So she calls my wife, just, absolutely hysterical, and I overhear the conversation. So I call the store. Didn't drop her name, but I said I need to speak to the general manager. So this lady gets on the phone. I said, "You're the general manager?" She goes, "No, I'm one of the assistants." I said, "Well, I need to speak to your general." "Well, he's not here." "So really?" I said, "Why isn't he there on inventory day?" "Well, he left because of the weather." I said, "Oh, so he can leave, but the workers are still required to come in." And I just started laying into her and basically said, "I ever hear of your company again telling employees who, guess what, your store is not essential, to come in." I said, "I'll go to every paper and news station in this area."
Mm-hmm.
And just laid into her. Apparently, I made her cry.
Apparently,
And,
she deserved it.
well, she didn't deserve it. Her asshole of a GM did. She just happened to be the one stuck holding the baton at that point.
Oh, yes. Okay, I understand.
And so my wife gets off the phone. She calls in. Now, y'all have met my wife. My wife is an English major.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her tear into a doctor, calling him everything but a nice white man, without actually using any bad words. And finishing her letter off to him with, "I hope you live up to your standards of your delusions of mediocrity."
That's awesome.
She calls up there, gets the same lady, and she goes, "Are you the general manager?" No, I'm not." My wife was a lot nicer about it than I was.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure that lady knew that she was still taking an ass chewing. Yeah, that store closed about a year later.
Yeah.
And the general manager is gone the next month. I don't know how that could have happened.
Probably because he laid out during inventory.
Yeah,
That
that
might-
the letter my wife sent in probably didn't help either.
Ooh, paper trail. That's always a bad thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's this from Chris.
Oh Lord.
Yes. Mm,
Well, as much as Dan has talked about shells, it just
Hey.
struck me as being highly appropriate.
I just build them. I don't stand under them.
I know, but you've mentioned about shells often, and I thought, given how you've talked about them in the past, you would find that funny.
Oh, there's one that's funnier. I don't know. You've probably already seen it. Everybody's probably already seen it. But it's a warehouse the way I used to work in when I was doing line servicing. And it's these tall metal shelves that go all the way up as far as a forklift can reach on full
Mhm.
extension. And this guy's driving around in there, and the shelves are loaded down. And he turns a little bit too soon and bumps into one leg of a shelf, and it seems like it cascaded into the entire warehouse, collapsing to the ground.
I've seen
Thank
that video.
thank God that forklift had a cast iron cage on it. Otherwise, he'd have been killed.
Mm.
Look, even with the cast iron cage, that man's still lucky.
Yeah.
And those cages aren't always rated for that much capacity.
No,
Sometimes it's just
it got battered. I mean,
Mhm.
seriously, those were some big pallets of heavy looking stuff. All right, I will be right back, and
okay.
can't go drinking beer all day and keep it to yourself. Well, not all, even all afternoon after you get off from work. This problem is going to be exacerbated once I'm retired because I'm going to start in on the beer right after I finish my second cup of coffee every morning. So,
Oh, I'm glad he's
Oh,
looking forward to retirement.
yeah. I don't know if his liver is.
Well, yeah, I doubt the liver is, but
Yeah, I
I
mean,
also think Lindsay's probably going to keep him busy enough. I don't know that he's going to have as much time to drink beer as he's figuring on.
yeah, well, and I think a lot of it has been just trying to finish through his working career.
Yeah,
Because, I still got longer to retirement than I care to think about, but,
I feel you there.
it's probably 15 years at the earliest.
Yeah, they're probably close to 30.
Yeah, but, when I get to that point, hopefully I'll be able to enjoy it. My health will be relatively good and my body will still be relatively,
Nimble.
nimble and in good shape, able to get around, do stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the same thing. Which by that time I'll probably be in a higher position where I'm not outdoors constantly, but at the same time I also know that'll drive me up a wall.
It probably will, but it depends on how far away it is before you get that. I mean, if you get to stay on the road about 10 or 15 more years, it probably won't be as bad.
Yeah. It's I can really only go up about one more level from where
Yeah.
I'm at now. I really doubt I would ever be in the director's seat. One, because I will not move down to Fishers,
Mhm.
or closer to Fishers.
Yeah.
Technically, our director lives down closer to Vincennes,
Yeah.
and he only goes up to Fishers like once a week, if that. And he's actually still running projects too. But for me to really move up any higher, it gonna be a while.
Yeah.
Even though my boss keeps saying, which my boss is the project manager for our area,
Mhm.
and that's the next step that
Mhm.
I would go up to.
Yeah.
He keeps saying, "Oh, I'm gonna retire in the next 5 years." The hell you are.
Mm.
Oh, me and Laura are gonna retire, move up to the cabin in Michigan. He goes, and you're going to take my spot. I said, Gastonaw's got more years of experience than I do. He goes, yep, but he's probably outdoor about the same time I am. Fuck.
Yeah. It's just kind of like if Joe ever decides to step down from HallowCon, if I'm left with holding the reins, like, damn.
and guys, you don't have to worry about my liver. I drink natural light. It's
Oh,
sex. It's sex in a canoe beer, basically. Um,
You trying
my
to say
liver.
it's watered down enough where you got enough water in it, it'll
Hey,
flush out you.
I would be in more danger if I drank Church Lady iced tea. Seriously,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would probably be diabetic in that case.
I
Those
love
numbers
sweet.
check out.
I love
Mhm.
sweet tea, but there's some folks that go overboard with it.
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
And once their hair turns blue, the sugar gets heavier. I really don't know why, but there's got to be some corollary in there that I'm not wise enough to discover.
Maybe the blue
Um,
hair dye sinks into the roots and sinks into the brain, and it affects it.
yeah, I didn't know it was mercury. Um, Now, Kiri said something. Uh, ought to throw me a retirement party. Kiri. February 8th, my last day of work, is a Thursday. We'll be here. So we're gonna have fun. We're
Friday
gonna have
morning's
fun.
gonna be rough.
No, it won't, because I won't wake up till Friday night.
I'm talking about for me.
Yeah, I gotta remember putting in a vacation day for that Friday.
As long as I wake up in time for the green room, I'll be happy.
Mhm.
Oh. No, I'm more worried about these things than I am beer.
Yeah, well, you know.
I mean, at work, I go through the entire work day. They're locked in the car. I'm doing without. When I get on the air, when I get writing, there's an awful lot of those gets up in smoke. And
Hmm.
I have been thinking about quitting. So far, it hasn't gotten any further than a thought experiment, but I have been thinking. So God, that would make writing very, very difficult.
It should be easier with you not having to worry about work every day.
Well, it's not worry so much as I was writing something at work for the lady in human resources. About every 30 minutes, I would jump out of my chair and start to leave my lab. I'm going, what am I doing? I don't have anything I need to be doing. All the experiments are on a timer. It's not time yet. And then I realized I was wanting to get out and walk off the nervous energy.
Mm-hmm.
It normally
Mhm.
would be light up a cigarette. Uh, I
Well,
need
do the
I
Telly
need to
Savalas
practice some of
method.
that. With lollipops, yeah.
Yep, that's how
Uh,
he kicked the Cabot.
mm, well, if I do it, it'll be the same way I quit my younger vices and just stop.
Well, hey, more power to you if you can do that.
Mhm.
Some
Well,
folks need something to transition to, though.
if I can stop that, I can stop this. It's the willpower to go through with it.
But he required something going in his mouth to make up for the cigarettes. And the lollipops were the thing for him. And if he got the smaller ones, wasn't bad for him as if he got the real big lollipops.
I can think of one suitable substitute, but I don't know if my wife is willing. Ah,
Not the green room, Dan.
Mhm.
hey, I ain't going no further with it.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting over here being innocent.
Mm,
I miss
that
Traylana being on these shows because they were a lot more fun with her and Dawn both in the audience.
oh,
Yeah, sadly, my wife tends to turn into a pumpkin about 8:30, 9 o'clock most times. Not all the time, but
So, does she get up with the chickens or before the chickens?
uh, she's one of those that she's got to have her about 8 hours of sleep to be functional. Um, I'm one of those. I found that I run better on, uh, you know, six or less most times.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do too, but I really wish it wasn't during a damn show.
It depends on the quality of sleep I've gotten, because I have slept longer and not rested as well as when I've slept longer or shorter times, but the sleep was better.
Right now, it's been hard for me with transitioning back to being a day walker
Yeah.
from being on the midnights for over a month. And like tonight, like the last few weeks, like 8 o'clock hits, I'm ready for bed. Like I'm yawning, my eyes are heavy. Like right now, I'm starting to feel it, but I'm, still good.
Yeah.
But we also, now having the cat, he likes to jump up and try and wake us up at 3 a.m. And then we manage to fall back asleep. And again, at 6 a.m., he starts pawing at us and wanting us to get up. So
Yeah. Feed me, Seymour.
he has an automatic feeder. He just doesn't like waiting for it to actually go off, because he'll start pawing at us about 5:45. It's like, buddy, you got 15 minutes. You're good. You can survive.
You're good. You're not going to starve.
Mhm.
Back when we were on 8-hour shifts, um, 3 to 11 was always my favorite one. And when I took all 5 weeks vacation at one time, and my natural body clock determined when I went to sleep, when I woke up, turned out to be 3 a.m. I'd want to go to bed. About 10 a.m. I'd wake up and be
Mhm.
good for another day. Um, that's I don't think I can talk Lindsay into letting me get away with that now, but um, because there are sales going on, we have to be there early. No, that's not. She wouldn't get mad at me for that. I would just go ahead and set the alarm and
Mhm.
and try and go to bed a little earlier. 2 a.m. maybe. And there there have been many times in this last year of working 7 a.m. till 3:30. Uh, I would be up till about 2 before I got sleepy because I get home 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'd start doing something, checking my email, maybe watching a YouTube video, something, and I'd wind up, just nodding off in the middle of a video or in the middle of reading an email. And 30 minutes, hour later, I'd wake up and, you know, lather, rinse, repeat. If I'm not doing anything to keep my mind engaged, I would nod off about every 2 hours for 10, 15 minutes. And here it comes midnight. I should go to bed. I've got to get up at 6 o'clock. The alarm goes off. No, I'm not the least bit sleepy. 1 o'clock, I should go to bed. No, I'm not the least bit sleepy.
Mhm.
2 o'clock, I'm still not sleepy, but I'm going to bed and lay there and stare at the ceiling until I finally nod off. And
Mhm.
that is the closest thing to torture, really, to know you've got a deadline where you have to wake up and be unable to convince your body it's time to sleep now. Should have avoided that third nap at 5:30 this afternoon. Um, it's it. I've got faith that my body will find its natural rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And I will probably be up until late night, get up mid-morning, and get everything done that needs to be done during the day. And I might even be able to avoid those late afternoon nap ninja attacks. Although, judging from my dad's going to be the real trick right there, trying to fight off the nap ninjas. Um, I really don't know. And then there have been other people that I've known or read about that would have the same kind of late night sort of schedule, and they'd nod off for half an hour to an hour, wake up, be raring to go for several hours, and nod off again, just lather, rinse, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the way their body wanted to run. It's the same as um, when you get hungry for a small snack every 3 hours, 4 hours. You don't want a full meal. You just want some kind of munchie, basically. And your body just lives off of that instead of, hey, it's time for a steak. No, it's not. It's time
Mm-hmm.
for a pack of crackers and a Coca-Cola,
Gotta get that caffeine.
Well, usually the Maxwell House does a good job, but then I'm not wanting to tear my stomach up, so I've cut myself back to about 2 cups of coffee a day, maybe 3 if I've got something I've got to do.
I know some folks, they're not only coffee achievers, they're coffee believers.
My wife has at least 2 monsters a day, normally in the morning.
Mm.
And she generally won't drink caffeine past about 4 o'clock.
Now, Lindsay she's got a teapot. She'll either make an entire pot of tea, or she's got an electric tea kettle too. She will make 1 cup, and hopefully she will not get busy trying to do stuff and let it go cold. She'll be able to sit and drink it and enjoy it. And then a couple of hours later, that kettle gets started up again. And the challenge for her is not to make a cup of tea and then get busy doing something else where it gets cold, because microwaving it is not as good as a fresh piping hot cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not adverse to tea, but I understand the appeal of something where it's like coffee light for me.
Mhm.
Get that little, okay, let's get busy doing something, and then a little later on, you're flagging a little bit. Hey, tea time. I could do that. That's another one my liver and kidneys would probably object to, but it hasn't hurt a dozen generations of English people, so maybe I'll survive. Rich!
Where? That bastard owes me money.
Yeah, really. Oh, your sound is hissing like crazy.
Sound like he's on the road.
Better?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Was it the fan?
I was a fan.
We thought you were feeling as unwell as Joe Dog, so
For the most part, I am, but I'm feeling better than I have lately. And also, I wanted to show off the new toy.
Ooh!
New desktop?
No, 3D resin printer.
That's what I thought it
Yes.
was.
Currently in the middle of a print. Well, currently in the beginning of a print. So, my Christmas anniversary present from Misty arrived.
Oh?
3D printer.
Oh.
And a 3D scanner. So, now all these people throughout the years that I've ever said, eat my ass to, I can scan it, get a full food grade mold made of it, and sent it to them and say, hey, now you can actually eat my ass. The sad thing is, I might actually do that. I don't know.
It's not sad. The sad thing is that, people would actually look forward to that.
Hey,
Yeah.
now, $20 is $20. We don't kink shame around here unless it involves horses.
I don't have anything against horses.
What I found on one of my children's phones.
Yes, I remember that story. Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
Turns out Catherine wasn't that great after all.
I'm actually surprised how quiet the damn thing is too. I can barely hear it.
Nice.
That's impressive.
Oh, wow. I've only got 15 minutes left before I start the next show.
Yep.
That's all right. This has been an awful lot of fun tonight. I
Yeah.
want to thank everybody for showing up.
Happy to be here.
Yep. Always happy to be here.
Happy to be anywhere.
Yeah, really. That was my next statement. I'm just happy to be anywhere at my age.
Before I forget, folks, giving a little plug to Joe here. You need to check out his Burning His Love program. He did a very nice job last night on the piece of work that he was
Thank you.
doing.
And we have great music that plays during it also.
And if the
Yeah, some Dan Hellfield guy or something.
if the love burns too much, seek a medical professional and get penicillin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some lotion might not hurt either.
Yeah, the name actually just kind of started with that whole joke.
But seriously, if you like crafts, especially doing artwork with wood, you definitely want to catch Joe Bachman's show, The Burning His Love.
Yeah, still sitting over here from last night.
Yes.
And
Nice.
like I said, if you do nothing else to it, Joe, it looks like it's a snowy scene.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with how blonde that wood is.
Yes. I don't know that you would have had the same effect with a darker wood, but
Now, we were talking earlier about whether or not he needed to add more shading to the roof line of the lean-to, or the
Yeah.
under surface of the lean-to.
Yeah, the roof line, kind of the edge line of it. It was a question that Dawn had brought up last night. Do I ever do stuff that's, additional to what the design actually started off as? And the simple answer to that is I generally don't. Just because if I screw it up, then I have to start all over again. It's not like most art where you can go, oh, I can erase that and keep on going. It's, oh, I have to sand down about a quarter and a half inch off this wood.
You know, 3D effects are one thing, but that'll wear out Dremel real quick.
Mhm.
That reminds me, I've got to figure out where I stored my Dremel. I haven't used it in a couple of years. I don't know what closet it's in. Um, oh my goodness, I will finally be able to pull out all of my toolboxes and consolidate things where I can actually find them again. Facebook user, do I have that banner anywhere close by?
You need to give
Yes.
Facebook permission to share your stuff to StreamYard.
There we go. I hope Joe Dog's got that right.
That is
StreamYard.com/Facebook.
Rob Brown, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
oh, Rob knows this stuff.
The illustrious, no pun intended. Actually, I lied. That pun was intended. Rob Brown.
Yes, gifted, talented artist extraordinaire.
Yes. Rob, have you ever done glass painting? That's a medium that my mom, who has been an artist for longer than I've been alive, finds especially challenging because instead of working background to foreground, you've got to work foreground to background. Um, she's she's good at it, but she doesn't like it. No, this lady's not
That may not
late enough
work
at
for
night.
everyone, Rob.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Sure you can. Get a really bad cold and take NyQuil.
Or don't have a really bad cold and take NyQuil.
Well, the thing is, you
then you're
won't
just
stay
drinking.
awake. NyQuil makes a lot of folks drowsy. Even the non-drowsy formula.
Mhm.
That's why I would keep a couple of bottles of the cherry NyQuil on hand, and if we're having a holiday dinner, make a nice cherry cream cheese pie and put NyQuil in it. At least I get some peace and quiet for an hour or two after everybody finished the meal. Yeah, Rob. According to Mom, it is a real challenge because you have to think backwards. But you pretty much you're painting on the underside of the glass, so everything that's in the foreground has to be on the initial layer. And as you move further and further into the background, you're doing other layers on top of that initial foreground layer. Mom swears it drives her crazy because it is exactly backwards to everything she's ever done with a oil painting or watercolor or anything else. But it's a challenge in several ways. Basically, teaching yourself to be able to shift gears and think with the backwards perspective, and teaching yourself how to only work with the transparency of the glass that applies to that particular layer. I probably didn't explain that right, but I'm not an art teacher. I'm just somebody whose mom has been an artist for 80, well, let's call it 75 years because she's 82. And she's been doing this stuff for a long time. Ooh.
Where's John when you need him?
Uh, Lord only knows. Yeah. I can relate to that. I was a college student in the 70s. Um, there were some of my oil paintings that I had to look at it a different light when everything wore off. Taught me a lot about how to achieve 3D effects with a very, very limited effort involved. Carl, gonna go to bed,
Yeah,
and
Have a good night, Carl.
good night, Carl.
might be
And yeah,
time to grab the psychedelic sock puppet.
oh yeah, yep, you exactly right. Even though Dawn's not here, so the joke has less of its kick. Um, Now you got to be specific. Which stuff you using the hell out of right now?
The stuff he learned.
Oh,
The stuff he
it's
learned.
less. It's less fun without Dawn here to um, overreact. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I hope her back gets to feeling better. That can't
Mhm.
be easy.
really, yes. I would hope for a miracle that one day she will be pain free and not physically impaired.
Yeah,
That would be great. That would be great. I would celebrate that day.
that would definitely be a blessing for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now, let's see. We got 5 minutes left, guys. Um, and it pretty much means that Last Man Standing is not going to have an audience until tomorrow sometime. But that's all right with me too. Um,
It does happen.
Mm-hmm.
it happens a lot, and I don't mind. It's there. As often as I can remember, I'll go back and add shows into the playlist. So some poor masochist is going to hit the button that says "Start at the beginning," then they're going to see 3 years of Last Man Standing.
Just wait till they get to the taco episode.
Oh God.
They'll have to wait a little while.
Yeah, but there may be a fan for life after that.
Hey, I am not putting together a editor's choice best of.
Nah, you gonna have to wait till you retire before you think about that.
Dude, I've only got 2 days left to work. Retirement is less than 8 weeks away.
Well, as Jackie Gleason liked to say, know how sweet it is.
It's hard to believe. I have been working towards this moment for 2/3 of my life,
Yep.
and it's finally here. It's finally within my grasp, and I'm going, am I ready for this? Have I made enough preparations to where everything's going to be going right? Is there a safety belt anywhere? Because, I'm not management. I don't get a golden parachute. I'll be lucky if I get a brick wall. I've done the best I can. Every
2 minute warning.
Alright.
2 minute warning, Dan.
Yep.
Yes.
Time for high flight.
Yes, it is, and thank y'all for
Or
being
however
here.
you prefer to get there.
Let's touch the face of God.
I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.